Each one of us should live sustainably in order to conserve the resources of this world. The consumptive lifestyle of Western societies is putting tremendous pressures on the world resources besides increasing earth warming and pollution. For example, an average American consumes 306 gigajoules per year of energy. If every citizen of this planet wants to have the wasteful and consumptive lifestyle of an average American, then we will need resources of four Earths to sustain it. Also, all of us who work in the areas of sustainable development should try to live sustainably. I would therefore like to share with you my experiences in living a sustainable but decent and emotionally satisfying life. This lifestyle has evolved slowly over time and required some effort. I wrote about this almost 5 years ago, and hence the data that I'll present is a 5 years old data. It may have changed slightly, but the general trend is the same. I live in a small rural town called Fulton in Maharashtra, India, where I run a small NGO called Nimkar Agriculture Research Institute. Fulton is 100 kilometers southeast of Pune and is at 800 meters above sea level. Its climate is quite mild, and our institute, Nimkar Agriculture Research Institute, works in the areas of agriculture, renewable energy, animal husbandry, and sustainable development. My experiments in sustainable living in Fulton for the last 30 years are as follows. I live in a house designed by me and constructed in 1984. It is built of stone with 18 inches thick walls which allow tremendous thermal lag time, so heating and cooling due to ambient atmosphere temperature is delayed. It is passively cooled in the summer by laying old jute gunny sacks on the roof and sprinkling water on them 2 times a day. These sacks are very cheap and cost almost 10 rupees per square meter, or in dollar terms it can be calculated. The evaporating water from the sacks cools the roof from where 80% of the thermal load comes into the house. Thus, when the outside temperatures are about 40 to 45 degrees Celsius, the house is cool in the afternoon with average temperatures of rooms ranging from 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. This is mostly because of thick walls and cool roof. Besides, we also close all the windows and draw the drapes over them so that the hot air and radiation from outside does not come inside the house. The trees surrounding the house also helps. In a couple of years or so, the gunny sacks are worn out because of the salts left behind by the evaporating water. These old gunny sacks are either used as mulch in the garden or burnt in our hot water boiler, which supplies water for our daily bath. The water boiler is a great type multi-fuel boiler with about 10-meter long chimney attached to it. The ash from this boiler is used as a fertilizer in our garden, either by putting it directly or in composting pit. All our kitchen waste is composted in a pit, the dimension of around 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter, and within 2 to 3 months it provides excellent fertilizer for the garden. We never waste any food. Whatever we take on the plate is eaten. The leftovers are either used next day or fed to our 2 dogs and 3 4 cats. There is no special food for the pets, they eat whatever we eat. We have a 2-acre plot on which our house is located. It mostly contains trees planted by us. Their leaf litter rots in the soil during rainy season and provides nice mulch. The dead branches and trees of the trees provide us the wood for heating our bath water in the wood boiler. In fact, we always have surplus of wood so that we sell it and make a nice tidy sum. Most of our groceries and vegetables are grown within 10 to 15 kilometers of our home. The eggs are from the free range ranging chickens, milk from the cows across the road, and vegetables and groceries from the local market. Most of these things are grown in Fulton area. We use safflower seed produced in our own institute farm for crushing in the local mill for our oil consumption. Thus the oil is fresh and without any chemicals. We also consume some fruits grown in our garden, and for sugar we consume mostly jaggery, which is grown from our sugar cane, from which we produce our own jaggery. Till very recently, I drove my 31-year-old Maruti 800cc car, which transported me from point A to B comfortably. After being driven almost 150,000 kilometers, it has been retired since it cannot be insured and neither can I get spare parts for its repair. So now I drive an efficient Maruti Alto, which gives me between 80 to 20 km per liter and is small enough to go into the smallest of lanes and by-lanes of Fulton town. For long distance driving to Pune or Mumbai, which is around 300 kilometers from Fulton, I use Maruti Esteem or hire a taxi, which also gives an average of around 18 to 20 kilometers per liter. We have few clothes and they are worn till they get torn. They are then used in the house as dusters and wipers, and after becoming tatters are used in the water boiler to heat the water. I wear mostly khadi or cotton spun in cottage industries. Thus I buy the cloth for my bush shirts and they are stitched by my tailor in Fulton. This makes these shirts much cheaper than the ones purchased in the market. Khadi is very comfortable material to wear and also makes excellent dusters and wipers after the shirts get torn. Similarly, the papers in our office are used for writing on both sides, and the used ones are brought to our house and burned in the boiler to heat our bath water. Thus everything is recycled. We use electricity sparingly and have battery powered inverters both in the offices and at home which supply enough juice during the power cuts for light, fans and computers only. So no TV or refrigerators run on them. During electricity cuts, we walk, talk or read. This provides a good quality time to catch up on reading and discussions. Sometimes I think this is for the best, as a 24-hour electricity with TV and other electronic media running continuously on it causes a distraction. We do not travel very much, but communicate more by phones and internet, and believe that this is much more energy efficient way of keeping in touch. With the availability of broadband internet connection, both at home and in office, it's an excellent communication and information medium. We bring most of our groceries and vegetables in cotton carry bags and hence have little garbage of plastic. Nevertheless, we cannot get away from plastic as most of the things come already packed in it, and this is the biggest nuisance we have. We have no way to recycle it. Presently, we take the plastic bags and bottles to a local garbage dump from where they ultimately go to the recycling center. We are teetotalers and drink only water which is boiled. Thus the plastic bottles and cans of soft drinks do not litter our garden. Drinking only water is not only healthier but also helps the environment by not producing plastic bottle litter. We buy only those things which are needed, and since we live simply, we do not need to buy too many things. We still use one of our 25-30-year-old refrigerator and try to get most of our gadgets repaired rather than throwing them away when they stop working. This reduces the garbage production and at the same time is easy on the pocketbook. However, India is rapidly developing into a throwaway society, and hence it is becoming increasingly difficult to get the old gadgets repaired. The main external inputs we use are electricity, petrol and LPG for cooking. Our per capita energy consumption in the last 2-3 years data is around 12.85 gigajoules per year for electricity, both in offices and home, 10.83 gigajoules per year in transport, mostly for petrol 2 cars, and 2.1 gigajoules per year in cooking gas. Thus, we personally consume around 25 gigajoules per person per year of energy. To this should be added the energy in India's infrastructure, which comes to about 10 gigajoule per person per year. Thus, our total commercial energy consumption is 35 gigajoule per person per year. Contrast this with about 306 gigajoule per person per year that an average US citizen uses. Thus, in 1/9 the energy that is used by an average American citizen, we can live quite decently in a modern industrial society. Our low electricity consumption results since we use only fans and LEDs or CFLs and evaporative roof cooling system. Even in our offices, we use evaporative roof cooling. We do have an air conditioner in our bedroom and in office, but is hardly used because of evaporative roof cooling system. For the last 8 to 10 years, data show that we have used our air conditioner for only 15 to 20 days a year during the humid weather. The low energy usage in transport is because on an average we travel between 15 to 17,000 kilometers per year. If air travel is also added to the above energy, then the consumption increases drastically. With the energy norm of 1.3 megajoule per passenger kilometer for air travel, a trip to US from Mumbai consumes 28.3 gigajoule per person of energy, while each domestic air travel consumes around 3 gigajoules per person. Thus, last year we made 4 domestic and 1 foreign trip, and hence the total energy used was 75.8 gigajoule per person. This is still 1/4 the energy consumed by a US citizen, though our air travel is quite limited, but still it is the biggest user of energy in our case. Similarly, our average water consumption is 150 liters per person per day for household purposes. This is almost 1/4 that used by a US citizen. Still, we feel that this water usage could be further reduced. Thus, a satisfying and decent lifestyle can be maintained in much less energy and water usage as compared to that in Western societies. And this is a lesson for our leaders who are hell-bent on following the Chinese and US patterns, which are both very consumptive and unsustainable. We can make the lifestyle even more sustainable by producing electricity, liquid and gaseous fuels from the agriculture residues so that our household gadgets and mobility machines can be run on locally produced electricity or other fuel. Similarly, electricity production from solar energy can further help in this process. However, for both these things will require a community effort together with a certain policy changes by the Government of India. Nevertheless, if all of us become internally secure through spirituality, then it can help us reduce our greed for materials and resources and help us live in a sustainable manner. And with proper planning and enlightened policy of Government of India, Indians can enjoy a very high quality of life without becoming overconsumptive.